All right, everybody. How's it going today? Another episode of Kicking Facts. Me, CAB, as you can see, I'm by myself today. My man Brad Lee got caught up on some other things, but we're going to go ahead and keep it going. Today, it's going to be kind of short and sweet. Don't know how long it's going to go because, as you know, Kicking Facts is unscripted and everything is like pretty much right off the top of the dome. So, but today we're going to do something a little different. We're going to talk about words. Yeah. Words have power because we give them power. Words have meanings. People give words meaning, and we give words power. A lot of words that we use today have been invented or used by other people for generations. And in time, people have molded and changes certain words to pretty much make them what they want them to be. Which is one of the unique things about being a human being. We pretty much can take anything on God's green earth that He created and change it to whatever we want it to be. Words are no exception. But we're going to just go over here and have a little fun, talk about some of the words and some of the origins and what they originally were. If you look at a lot of these words that we're going to go over, they actually have what they call updated definitions. You have the English, you have a lot of words come from Latin America, which is supposedly, or Arabic, which is supposedly the first languages. And now we have like Ebonics and things of that nature. So you have different words have different meanings in the 20th century than they did in this origin. So we're going to just go over certain words and what they actually were meant to be, and maybe how we use them today. There's pretty much no specific order. It's just words that I know for a fact that I see people use, and when I think, I'm like, you know what, this guy's using this wrong. Some of this stuff I've actually researched myself, just so I can, not be talking outside of my neck. But of course, that's up to you to say if I am or ain't. This is why it's called Kicking Facts. So, but this is all arbitrary. A lot of this stuff is going to have multiple definitions, but here we go. All right, then the first grouping of words, people always get mixed up. The word, we're going to go with these three words: prostitute, whore, and slut. Okay? There's a bonus word at the end of this. Now, people have a tendency to mix all three of these together like they're the same thing, but I say they're not. History tells me they're not. If you look at the origins of each one of these words, they actually have different meanings. Okay, so let's dig into the first one, prostitute. Now, people say a prostitute is a woman who pretty much sells herself on the corner or sells herself in a brothel or just sells her body for money. That is kind of the case. The original definition of prostitute is from Latin and from back in the Roman days. All right, so a prostitute basically is a woman who sells her body as a profession. That's the difference. That's the key word, profession. She clocks in, she sells pussy. I know YouTube will probably beat me on that one, but that's her job. Her job is to sell herself and lay with men for gratification, for payment of currency. Whatever is gold tokens, doubloons. Currency has changed throughout the years, but that's a whole nother podcast. Because money is only in the 20th century. Before then, it was people were buying things with sugar and rice and cattle, you name it. Currency changes, but that's, like I said, that's another podcast. But an actual prostitute is a person who wakes up in the morning, goes to work, and sells sex for men. That's her job. She has certain rules. She has, just like you go to the barbershop and get your hair cut. That was her job. To come in, hey, how you doing? Then on your back, do what you gotta do, payment, and it was all pretty much set up front. Now, that has changed throughout some of the years, has been mixed in with whore. Now, a whore is a person who is normally, it could be a guy, a whore could be a guy, prostitute could be a guy or a woman. And don't get it mixed up. I don't say it's female. I say it could be a person that lays with you. It could be a guy, it could be a girl, you know, and has sex. As a prostitute, that's their job. Now, a whore is a person that does the same thing, but it's not their profession. That's the difference. It's not their profession. That's not their job. It's just something that they do for money. Normally when you see people out on the street, those are whores. It's not their job. They actually could have a day job. Like them girls you meet on Backpage who are so-called escorts, or the ones that's on sugardaddy.com or whatever. Those women, it's not their profession. They have sex, and with men or women, they have sex with men or women, or men have sex with women for monetary gain, not always cash. It could be something that's agreed upon. It could be a job, it could be a car, it could be a watch. Whores, it's not always monetary value. It could be something for trade. So that's what a whore does. They will do almost the same thing as a prostitute, but won't do it for the same currency. Prostitutes, it's cash. You're not gonna go into a barbershop and say, "Oh, I'm gonna give you a bag of rice for a haircut." You know, that's not. Oh, I'm gonna, give you these J's for a haircut for a month. That's something totally different. Prostitute is like a 9 to 5. That's their job. A whore would do almost the same thing that a prostitute would do, but different currency is involved, and it's not something that is their job. First, that's why you get people say you are whoring yourself out, because there are some women and men who would do things for monetary gain. And remember, monetary is, it's not just money. It could be for, like I say, promotion, furthering itself, brownie points, clout, likes, whatever. So that's why you get the words, you say, "Oh, you whoring yourself out for publicity," or whoring yourself out. So it's not like you fucking people. It's that you're whoring yourself out, meaning that you are pretty much selling yourself for things, not just money or money. Now, a slut will do everything that a whore would do and a prostitute would do, but do it for nothing. If they get paid, it's great. If they don't get paid, it's fine. But a slut would do pretty much everything that sexually or whatever, and there's no pro quo up front. They just go willy-nilly and do whatever they want. They fuck whoever they want. They say whatever they want. Oh, you married? I don't give a fuck. That's what sluts do. Oh, you want to pay me? Okay, I'll take it. I'm not going to turn it down. That's the difference between, and a slut will do it for free. And don't get it mixed up with promiscuous people. A promiscuous person is almost the same thing. A promiscuous person is a person that doesn't have any standards sexually, which means they will have sex with a man, woman, dog, horse. They don't have any standards. They just want to be having sex. That's a promiscuous person. Like I said, a slut, on the other hand, like I say, they will, keep in mind, you can have men sluts and female sluts too. Now, that's the difference between a slut, like I said, will do pretty much everything a prostitute or a whore would do, but doesn't have the understanding up front of the monetary gain. If you reward them, if you get a good slut, you're going to reward them. I know I've rewarded a few good sluts in my day. They're needed, trust me. All of these things are needed. Prostitutes are needed, whores are needed, sluts are needed. You know what I'm saying? Promiscuous women and men, they're needed. That's a whole other podcast because it's a numbers game, but that's my definition on those three. Now, you might be going, some of you might be confusing promiscuous or slut or prostitute or whore with the other two newer words, gigolo and gold digger. Gigolo is a man, specifically a man. Gold digger is specifically a woman. A whore, prostitute, and a slut can be either or. But a specific genre or gender, these two words are specific to those two people. Gigolo, man. Gold digger, woman. This is modern terms. Now, gigolo pretty much is a mix of all the other three, prostitute, whore, and a slut. Because a gigolo pretty much is long term. A gigolo is a guy who messes with a woman, mostly older women. It could be younger, it could be any kind of woman or man. But for long-term monetary gain, meaning, like I say, it's a mixture of prostitute or slut, meaning they can hang out with you and get nothing because they're in for the long game. So every encounter is not pro quo. They might eventually get a car out of you, a house out of you, a promotion or a job out of you. You know what I'm saying? But their goal is to be with you for gain down the road and anything that they get long term. See, a prostitute and a whore, slut could be a one-night stand or it's a transaction. A gigolo is in it for the long term. He's almost like a woman. He's almost like a woman's best friend, but is getting things, sleeping with her, but also getting things and gifts and all these things long term. And a gigolo can have multiple women. So that's the difference between a gigolo and those other words. It's male specific. A gold digger is the exact same thing as a gigolo, but it's the girl version. You can't have a girl gigolo and a guy gold digger. Guy gigolo, girl gold digger, but those are the same thing. She's with a guy for monetary gain, not pro quo, and that's different. Not actual transaction. I am gone. I'm here. You know that stuff them Instagram models be doing. Oh, I'm gonna catch a flight and I'm gonna go. No, that's not a gold digger. That actually is a whore. You send a girl out on a flight from Instagram. You see her. You got, okay, this is what that's not her job. See what I'm saying? Whores, that's not there. A prostitute has definite money understanding of buck. Now, you go to a prostitute and say, hey, I'm gonna fly you out. She said, okay, but before we even do that, I need $1,000 for this, $1,000 for that, for the night. She's talking rates because that's her job. A whore, it's like, oh, fly me out, and then whatever happens, happens. That's kind of like her payment. Okay? Because like I said, a whore, it could be anything from not monetary, it can be money, but anything monetary of value. So that's the difference. Okay? So don't get them twisted. Now, enough on that, because I know I'm getting a lot of people talking about that in the comments. So here we go. To the next one. This one has to do with race. Now, the word Caucasian. Now, Caucasian, the actual word Caucasian is used by white people who don't want to be called white people. The next two words that we're going to go over are race related. We're going to go over Caucasian, then we're going to go over the N-word and their origins and why they are what they are and how they've morphed throughout the years to be what we wanted them to be. Now, Caucasian. The original word Caucasian is from the Caucasian people. I'm probably murdering their names. You will notice that about me a lot on King Facts. I would probably murder a name. But they are from the North African and Southwest Asian region of the world. This is back in biblical times. Think about this now. They were North African, Southwest Asian in origin. The area was Caucasian. Now, that's what the original Caucasians, like they got Asian, African American, that was to explain who these people were. Now, I did a little research, and unfortunately, these people, I guess, were wiped out. And back in those days, you had the mongrels, and you had all kind of people born, and Rome was invading this left and right, and you got it was just a hot mess back then. So a lot of tribes and a lot of regions were wiped out, and that was one of them. But that was the original word for Caucasian. Now you can just imagine people from North Africa and Southwest Asia, how they would look. I mean, people have been mixing races and blending stuff since a dick and a pussy was invented. So let's just imagine their colors and their skin tone. But those were the original Caucasians. Now, as the time went on, And white people, then the term white people was pretty much given to them by the same people that the Negro word came back, which to describe their skin tone. Because if you didn't know where a person came from, and all you knew was their skin, you would have to name them something. It would have to be pale face, white, or black. And back then, most of the words were from, like I say, Latin America or European descent. So now, white people didn't want to be called white, and they kind of broke the word Caucasian out to say, okay, we're not white people, we're Caucasian. I mean, but if you really know what Caucasian people look like, they were a mix between African and Asian people because they were from that region. And as you know, Africa and Asia is nowhere near Europe. I don't even say nowhere, but basically it's not Europe. It's in that region, but just come on. Africa, everybody know where black people come from. Africa. That's our motherland. Like it or not. Japan, Asia, yeah, Chinese. Not many white people or pale faces. So, anyway. Now, like I say, white people have took that word and say, okay, you got to be called something. I'd rather be called Caucasian because it sounds better than being called white people. But like I said, from the Indians and most other tribes who didn't speak the language, they would say color of your skin, which either be pale or white. Just like black people will be, when Negro, which is actual for black, with a Latin word, started with is Negro, which is the Latin word for black. You see it when you go to Staples, you'll see the word Negro, because that means black. Like I said, most of all the words that we use come from Latin America or Roman descent. I don't know what you would call that era back then. But a lot of those words that we use today come from them because those were the languages. And you got to remember when the United States was formed, we had English settlers. We already had the Indians, North American Indians were here. And they didn't speak English because English was made by the English. So they weren't, so when they see you, they had to describe and communicate to you by the best ways they could. Which if you was a brown person, they would call you Negro because that was black from or brown skin or pale skin or white people. That's where those terms came from. But the word nigger was more from the word Negro, meaning black. And just like with white people and Caucasian, black people didn't want to be considered niggas. This is why you say you got the Negro College Fund, the American Negro, because they know it means black. That's what, but they don't say the American Nigger College Fund. See what I'm saying? So the word Negro, like I say, it's not offensive. It's just like the word Caucasian, like I say, and white people. Neither one of those is really offensive. It's all about when you put the words to it. You can say Negro. Some people go, oh, I'm not a Negro, because they confuse it with nigger. Nigger was a term made by European people, white people or Caucasian people, but mostly European people, to describe the black people. Because they wasn't going to call them Africans, because that's where they came from. Back then, you call people where they came from. Like I said, that's where you get Asian, European, Caucasian, ends. But so they just called them what the other people were calling them, Negro, because it's black. And then they put, you have people who don't speak good languages, and they murder words like today. People murder words all with their accent. And the English people, they came in the Spanish, and when they were coming in, they murdered the word Negro and put the nigger on it. Because it's a lot easier to say nigger than Negro. Milliseconds shorter, but it's a lot easier. It rolls off the tongue. Nigger, Negro, See, the difference is two. It's just their preference. But now, the meaning that we put to the word Negro is nigga. It's kind of like white people. White people are like, oh, I'm not a white person. It's almost like it's a different genre of black people. You got Negroes, and then you got niggas. Just like you got white people and Caucasians. It's all on the power you give the word. But if you look at the origin of those words, neither one of them was meant to be offensive. But us, like I said in the beginning, us as human beings, we can murder, rape, pillage, change, morph anything on this God green earth. Because we are the greatest creation that he's ever made, and we made in his image, and he can create just like we can create, and he can destroy just like we can destroy. But we give these words a little bit too much power. So, but once again, once you look at how these words work, and we use them every day, you can use the word nigga in a regular old sentence, and it means nothing. But if a white person or Caucasian use that word, it's crazy. It's off limits. We say that. It's just a word. I mean, shit. I have Caucasian or white friends, and I call them niggas all the time. They can call me a nigga. I really don't give a fuck because I know what the word means. Basically, it just means black. And I am black because I'm not African. You know, if anybody knows anything, Africans can't stand African Americans. So I'm definitely not African, not by a long shot. And they wouldn't claim us if they could. But anyway, that's a whole nother podcast. All right, so the last one, I didn't want this to be that long, is, well, we have two more. The word bitch. Yeah. Couldn't murder words without putting in the word bitch. Now, bitch can be, today's terms, can be considered a low standard person, male or female, because men can be bitches, or women can be bitch too, or bitchy. A person with low standards or argumentative or just alright rude or aggressively toned person. Bitch or bitchy. Now, the original word bitch basically is, we all know it, the furthest bitch is a female dog. Because you have two of everything. You have a lion, lioness, you got, cougar, I forgot what they call the girl cougar, you got the male panda. They don't call them all pandas. They call the female panda something different. Like they call horses. They got studs and whatever the hell they call the mares or whatever they call the female. You got two. So a female dog is called a bitch. Now, I say this to say there is also another saying that's just as old as the word bitch and dog. And I didn't make this saying up. This is saying, I guarantee you ask anybody that you know how long this has been around, they'll tell you this was around before I was born. A dog is a man's best friend. They're always happy to see you. No matter what you do to them, you can beat them, starve them, and they're still always happy to see you. You can neglect them, and every time you walk in that door, they're happy to see you, shaking their tail, licking your face, because a dog will protect you. If anybody fucks with you, the dog is gonna put yeah. So this is why the phrase was originally created. A dog is a man's best friend. And what is a female dog? A bitch. So a bitch dog was originally also a man's best friend. So a man could call a woman a bitch at a certain time and it wouldn't be a problem because that's a compliment for a woman at that time. Just like you say, if a guy's your boy, what do you call him? My dog. Right? You call him your dog. You didn't start that. This has been going on since, like I said, before you was even born or thought of. These phrases came from European descent long time ago. That was a compliment to call somebody your dog. We still do that to this day because a dog is the most loyal animal that a man can have. We don't have loyal chimps, horses. We don't even have loyal cats. We have loyal dogs. All breeds till this day. So, you have a female dog, you call them your bitch. This is how it started, people. But we've morphed it into something bad, something terrible. I only call the females in my life outside of my daughter, because she's my daughter, like my bitches. And because they ride or die with me. They my bitches. If I call a bitch my bitch, yeah, that means something. That means she's just as loyal and like I said, happy to see me. I'm happy to see her. And no matter how many times we see each other, whatever, it's always love. So people have murdered that bitch word, and they took away the original meaning behind it and made it something nasty and dirty. And like I say, that's something that we can do as people. But when people call me their dogs, you know, I'm like, okay, well, do you really know? But I'm like, dude, I'm not your dog. I'm a few people's dog, but not a lot, because I know what that means. I know I'm not loyal to certain people. I know I'm not always happy to see certain people. You know what I'm saying? I know that there are certain people that can do me wrong, and I will cut off like a heartbeat. Dog ain't gonna cut you off. So same thing, like I say, with the word bitch. So that's one of the words that we always use wrong. Now, the last word, this is a bonus word that people use all the time, and they use it just, you know, and I use it myself. And I didn't know where the word originated from, because I actually did some research on this one. The word boss. People call, you might see somebody walk up to you, say, what's up, boss? Or some people at work say, hey, boss. Innocent. You know why it's innocent? Because you don't know the meaning of the word. The word, once again, it originated from European descent. Dutch, actually, descent. And it means master. So that word originally, boss, was originally, it meant master of something. Master of a person, place, or thing. So just remember, when you call people boss, or people call themselves bosses, are you a master of something? Or are they your master? Because that's where the word came from. But once again, we flip it and change it to something that we wanted to. Now, people call me boss all the time. I'm kind of thinking about next time, like when somebody calls me that, now that I got it in my head, I'm like, I'm not your master. So don't call me that. But I am a boss, because I am the master of my domain. I'm the master of my home. I'm the master of certain things. I have people that I feed and people that depend on me. So yeah, I could consider myself a boss, but I'm nobody's master. Not by a long shot. But I am a master of my domain and the master of my kingdom, because I'm responsible for everything around me. But when people walk up to you in the street and say, hey, what's up, boss? Or your employees call you boss, just think about it though. One, do you even really deserve that title? And should you be telling people or giving that title up freely to people? But I digress. But that's enough for me today. Kicking Facts. We're going to wrap this up. Once again, comments. Say I'm full of shit. Not full of shit. You agree, you disagree. Put it in the comments below. But for right now, CAB, Kicking Facts. See you in the next one.